every sunrise to arrive at your command. Every word I wish to say, held tightly in my hand. I chased the fleeting moments that we barely got to feel, hoping love could learn patience and the wounds that time could heal. I thought if we waited longer, if we held our breath in time, maybe the heart would soften and the stars would realign. If love could learn patience, maybe we wouldn't fall. Maybe the distance wouldn't matter. Maybe we'd survive it all. Yeah, if love could learn patience, maybe the nights wouldn't sting. Every silence, every heartbeat would carry what it brings. I counted all the seconds, every glance, every sigh, every hope I tried to anchor, every question left to lie. I thought we had forever, thought we'd never face the strain, but the lessons come in waiting, and the heartache leaves its stain. I thought if we held together, if we listened through the pain, maybe love would find its rhythm, and the loss would not remain. If love could learn patience, maybe we wouldn't fall. Maybe the distance wouldn't matter. Maybe we'd survive it all. Yeah, if love could learn patience, maybe the nights wouldn't sting. Every silence, every heartbeat would carry what it brings. Maybe timing is a teacher, maybe waiting is a test. Maybe love can learn its limits, even if it wants the rest. And though we tried to hurry, though we rushed the fragile away, some things unfold in silence, some truths take longer to say. Learn patience, learn patience. If love could learn patience, maybe we'd still be nine. Every shadow, every moment would lose a little fear. Yeah, if love could learn patience, we'd hold on through the night. Every heartbeat, every whisper, every flicker of the light. I wanted every sunrise, but the world moves on its own. If love could learn patience, maybe we'd have found home. I built a world around your laughter, cast a sky of endless blue. Every thought of you was magic, every moment felt like truth. I walked on clouds of almost every corner of my mind, but reality crept quietly, and the walls were hard to find. I thought imagination was a shelter from the fall, but some dreams have teeth and some hearts can't hold it all. The daydream got too real when the edges started fraying. Every hope I fragile break. I wanted to live forever in the magic I had spun, but the sun burned through illusions and the truth refused to run. I thought if I held it longer, if I whispered to the air, maybe the world would listen, maybe you would still be there. The daydreams got too real when the edges started fraying. Every hope I held so tightly slipped like a wind in the morning. Yeah, the daydreams got too real and the shadows touched the light. Every wish I'd been rehearsing came undone in one long night. Maybe some love exists only in the mind we keep. Maybe some hearts are fragile like a promise we can't speak. And though the fantasy was vivid, though it felt like it could heal, I had to face the daylight when the daydreams got too real. Too real. Too real. The daydreams got too real, and I learned to let it go. Every thought I wrapped around you, every hope I tried to show. Yeah, the daydreams got too real, but I carry what remains, all the fragments of the magic, even through the quiet pains. I watched the sky dissolve the fantasy, and the truth began to steal every soft imagined moment when the daydreams got too real. I walked into the daylight, blind to what it had in store. Every promise seemed unspoken, every step I took unsure. You held your patience quietly, I thought it was mine to bend, but the paths we tried to follow had beginnings with no end. I thought the world would guide me, that the lines were easy drawn, but some lessons come in fragments, and some rules arrive too long. I didn't know the rules when the game had just begun, when the pieces shifted under me and the ending came undone. Yeah, I didn't know the rules till the silence called my name, till the heartache found its measure and nothing felt the same. I tried to read the signals, every glance, every pause, every word you left unspoken, every consequence and cause. I thought love was simple, like a language I could trace, but some hearts are complicated, and sometime we can't replace. I learned too late the patterns, too late to rearrange. Every choice I thought was harmless had consequences strange. I didn't know the rules when the game had just begun, when the pieces shifted under me and the ending came undone. Yeah, I didn't know the rules till the silence called my name, till the heartache found its measure and nothing felt the same. rules I didn't choose, didn't know, oh, didn't know. Putting all the rules, but I've learned to play along. Every heartbreak, every stumble, every place I went wrong. Yeah, I didn't know the rules, but I'll carry what they taught. Every lesson, every caution, every battle I had fought. I walked into the daylight and the game began to bend. I didn't know the rules, but I've learned them in the end. There were warnings in your breathing, little pauses in your smile. There were questions in the silence I ignored for quite a while. I kept thinking it was temporary, just a phase you passed right through. But the world was rearranging, and I didn't notice you. I thought love would just continue, like a road without an end. But the map began to tremble at a curve I couldn't bend. I missed the turning point, when the story changed its line, when the future lost its footing, and the past pulled on your spine. Yeah, I missed the turning point, didn't see the subtle signs, didn't know that quiet moment can redraw the grand designs. There were hints inside the distance, in the way you held your hands. Every gesture said departure, long before you made your plans. I kept fighting for the version where forever had a name, but the path we kept repeating wouldn't lead us to the same. I assumed that endings warn you, that they speak before they strike, but some exits hide in whispers and arrive just when they like. I missed the turning point, when the story changed its line, when the future lost its footing, and the past pulled on your spine. Yeah, I missed the turning turning point where our futures separate. You folded up the morning like a letter never sent, packed your reasons in the shadows, left the door a little bent. I watched the daylight falter on the walls we used to claim, and the questions that came after never learned to say your name. I kept waiting for the moment when you look back one last time, but the future pulled you forward without rhythm, without a rhyme. I never asked for goodbye, never wanted you to leave, never learned the art of endings or the way your heart can grieve. Yeah, I never asked for goodbye, didn't know the rules to play, didn't know that losing someone means they take themselves away. You spoke in disappearing like a language made of lack. Every word you didn't utter was a step you wouldn't track. And I tried to make it softer, tried to cushion where you'd land, but you walked out through the quiet with the future in your hand. I kept hoping for a window where the truth would realign, but the door became the verdict and the ending became mine. I never asked for goodbye, never wanted you to leave, never learned the art of endings or the way your heart can grieve. Yeah, I never asked for goodbye, didn't know the rules to play, didn't know that losing someone means they take themselves away. Maybe love can bend without it, maybe parting has no choice, maybe sorrow speaks in whispers with a rarely borrowed voice. And though I trace the final moments, every second, every sigh, I never found the proper question for a forced and quiet breakdown. I never asked for goodbye, but I learned the future undefined, and I never asked for goodbye, but it found me every time. I watched you walk in silence, like a shadow in the hall. Every word I wanted to say fell quietly too small. I kept the final pieces safe beneath my skin, waiting for the moment when the ending could begin. I thought if I waited longer, if I held my breath just right, maybe I could keep the heartbreak from turning into night. I saved my last goodbye, yet to carefully inside every sorrow, every question, every tear I tried to hide. Yeah, I saved my last goodbye for the moment I could choose to leave without regret. And the weight of losing you, I trace the lines of memory where your laughter used to fall. Every echo of your presence was a ghost within the walls. I rehearsed the words in silence, every phrase a fragile thread, but the courage waited patiently for the day I'd finally said. I thought if I waited longer, if I let the time refine, maybe I could own the closure and the ending would be mine. I saved my last goodbye, tucked it carefully inside every sorrow, every question, every tear I tried to hide. Yeah, I saved my last goodbye for the moment I could choose to leave without regret. And the weight of losing you, maybe love deserves its ending, maybe grief can wait its turn, maybe holding back a final word is how the heart will learn. And though the night was heavy, though the tears would sometimes fall, I held the final sentence for the moment I had all. Last goodbye, last goodbye. I saved my last goodbye, and I spoke it when I could. Every fragment of our story, every shadow, every good. Yeah, I saved my last goodbye, and the silence let it go. Every heartbeat left behind me, every truth I had to show. I watched you fade to nothing, but the ending was my own. I saved my last goodbye, and I carried it alone. Your coat was by the doorway, like a promise half undone. The evening held its breath, and the silence weighed a ton. You glanced toward the window, like the world was pulling you. And I counted all the futures that we'd never make come true. But the air was full of almost, and the night refused to bend. So I tried to press the timing just a little past the end. I stayed for one more moment, though I knew the scene was through. Held the quiet like a secret, held my breath instead of you. To say we never lied. Your eyes told me the answers long before your mouth could speak, and the truth was in the distance, getting louder every week. I memorized your poster and the way you almost turned, every detail like a lesson that I didn't want to learn. But the walls were tired witnesses to the fading of our part, and the doorway held the closure that I couldn't give my heart. I stayed for one more moment, though I knew the scene was through. Held the quiet like a secret, held my breath instead of you. Yeah, I stayed for one more moment, longer than I should have tried, just to feel the last bit linger, just to say we never lied. Maybe endings are just bridges that we cross without a sound. Maybe love becomes a memory when there's no one left around. But I waited for the echo of the future we defend, till the silence gave the answer that the story reached its end. One more moment, just a moment. I stayed for one more moment. I stayed for one more moment, then I finally walked away, letting go without a promise, without anything to say. Yeah, I stayed for one more moment, just to see what wouldn't stay. And the past became a quiet that I carry to this day. Your coat still by the doorway, in a memory I've kept, where I stayed for one more moment, while the rest of you had left. slowly through the curtains you once drew. I reached for all the fragments of the moments I had with you. Your laughter lingered faintly, like a memory in flames, and I tried to hold it closer, even though it wasn't tame. I held my hands against the cold, pretended it was fire, but some things can't be captured, even when we desire. I try to keep the warmth, even as it slipped away. Try to cradle every heartbeat, every smile that chose to stay. Yeah, I try to keep the warmth when the nights grew long and thin. Try to carry all the sunlight, even as it left the skin. I traced the shape of moments that were fragile in our hands. Try to stitch together shadows into something that still stands, but the wind would find the spaces and the fire would retreat, leaving just a quiet echo where our hearts had tried to meet. I kept holding all the fragments, all the laughter and the pain, but some warmth is like a river, it returns but not the same. I try to keep the warmth, even as it slipped away. Try to cradle every heartbeat, every smile that chose to stay. Yeah, I try to keep the warmth when the nights grew long and thin. Try to carry all the sunlight, even as it left the skin. Maybe love is fragile, like the first touch of dawn. Maybe holding on too tightly is the way it's slowly gone. But I stayed for all the moments, even when the cold was near. 'Cause the warmth we leave behind us is the proof that we were here. Keep the warmth, keep the warmth. I try to keep the warmth, I try to keep the warmth, though it faded like the day. Held the shadows and the sunlight, hoping some of it would stay. Yeah, I try to keep the warmth, and I'll carry it along, even if it's only memory. I'll keep the warmth in song. The morning came in silence, and the fire's gone from sight, but I try to keep the warmth through every fading light. I watched the days slip slowly through the cracks I couldn't see. Every word you tried to tell me was a map to who we'd be. I held the pieces awkwardly and mistook the weight they bore. Every moment that I missed was a lesson I ignored. I thought love thought the heart would always stay, but some truths are only learned when the light begins to fade. I was late to understanding all the things I couldn't see. Every glance, every whisper, every moment you gave me. I was late to understanding, but I carry it in time. Every shadow, every echo, every reason I was blind. I trace the lines of what you want, every pause I didn't meet, every quiet revelation, every stumble in the heat. I tried to hold the answers before they ran away, but the meaning kept its patience, and I learned it yesterday. I thought knowing comes with certainty, thought the world would make it clear, but the heart keeps its own rhythm, and the truth waits for no one here. I was late to understanding all the things I couldn't see. Every glance, every whisper, every moment you gave me. I was late to understanding, but I carry it in time. Every shadow, every echo, every reason I was blind. Maybe learning comes in fragments, maybe patience bends the line, maybe wisdom shows its face when the moment's already mine. And though I wish I'd known you before the final page was read, I keep the quiet lessons of the words we never said. Late to understand. Lessons I regret. I was late to understanding, but I'll never quite forget. We built our dreams on mornings that promised endless skies. Every laugh, every whisper felt eternal in our eyes. But time has its own rhythm, and the world begins to sway. All the colors we were painting start to quietly decay. Thought our hearts were timeless, that the moments would remain, but some things only shimmer before they fall like rain. I watch forever fade, like the sun dissolving slow. Every heart softly of the love we couldn't hold. Every memory a flicker, every story left untold. I tried to pause the moment, tried to stretch the fragile thread, but forever has a deadline, and the colors turn to red. I thought our time was endless, that the night would never end, but the clock keeps on its turning, and the heart can only bend. I watch forever fade, like the sun dissolving slow. Every hope, every promise, every place I thought I'd go, yeah, watch forever fade. And I held what I could keep, all the laughter and the sorrow, all the secrets buried deep. Maybe permanence is fleeting, maybe love is fragile glass, maybe the only thing eternal is the memory that will last. And though I saw the edges, though the light began to wane, I carry all the fragments, even as they fall like rain. Forever fade, forever fade. I watch forever fade, and I learn to let it go. Every moment, every heartbeat, every seed I didn't sow, yeah, watch forever fade, and I keep the quiet trace of the love we tried to hold in the spaces we can't replace. The world moves on around me, but some echoes always stayed, and I whispered to the silence as I watched forever fade.